Day number 2 of the FIFA World Cup 2022 is complete. I'm your host, Damian Best, and this is Match Day Live from the 246, all sponsored by Guardian Group. Gabriella Lopez and Renaldo Gilkes on board tonight as well, and our super sub replacing Emerson Boyce in Kenneth Onyekwe. Kenneth is a football guru, and the rest of the panel will agree has all the stats to go along with his die-hard Liverpool spirit. Kenneth, welcome to Match Day Live from the 246. Good evening to you all.
Good evening.
Wonderful. Well, just some housekeeping before we get to you guys. Good news, the CBC Fantasy Football League is up and running at full pace with over 50 teams submitted so far, and you too can get involved. Let's take a look at the front runners so far after day 2 of that competition. Screws 91, as I check in my FIFA Plus app. He is out front with 43 points. That is Ruel Ford, our technical man behind the scenes here at CBC. He leads. He has a good squad put together. And what is the Fantasy League, you may ask? It's an opportunity for you at home to select 15 players via the FIFA Plus app. You're basically the manager of that squad. Those players are the ones you believe will be the key contributors to their team's success during the tournament. Now, points are based on performance, and if you want to participate in something a little bit easier rather than the FIFA Fantasy League, you can try our predictor game. Each correct prediction before the match earns you 2 points. You can send your predictions and your opinions on the World Cup as well via WhatsApp 228-5562. And you will see those predictions at the bottom of the screen as we go along here today. Well, this is Match Day Live from the 246. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got all the activities from that opening fixture. Welcome back to Match Day Live from the 246. The first game of the day brought together England and Iran. No doubt about the winner. It was just a matter of the scoreline. England thrashing Iran 6-2. Bukayo Saka scored twice in that victory, and that underlined their potential to go deep into the tournament. Teenager Jude Bellingham, Raheem Sterling, Marcus Rashford, and Jack Grealish also found themselves on the score sheet. We're going to start with Kenneth Onyekwe. Loopholes in England's defense despite the margin of victory. What does that say when they have to face much tougher opponents?
Pretty interesting, for when we get to the contender phase, when we're through the group phases and we start looking at how the serious side, the business end of this World Cup, England's opponents will be looking at how they defended today. Although they won 6-2, which I congratulate them, they didn't really do well when it came to defending when the Iranians decided to wake up and attack. Look at the chances Iran had. Ali Reza Jahanbash at 3-0 down, he had a clear chance in the box and he shot widely. Another substitute came on and challenged Pickford with a good shot that hit the crossbar. And also, look at the goals. They were able to penetrate England with precise passes. Come out and play. So you can imagine, for a team that is better skilled than Iran, and are able to defend, contain England, they will be able to exploit those kind of errors or those kind of loopholes that the English have shown. I heard that Southgate wasn't too happy with their defending, and I'm sure that the opponents will be pretty happy to see that England still have those deficiencies.
Well, Gabby, England made some changes at halftime. They brought on Marcus Rashford, Grealish, and others. We get a sense this England team has a depth to go all the way. The competition only gets harder from here on in.
Definitely. And while I agree with Kenneth that, they do have to work out some kinks within the defense, I think that, England has a lot of championship players. They have a lot of goal scorers. Of the 6 goals today, 5 different goal scorers. Not to mention, you still have Kane, who is, a potential goal scorer in the future for them. Also, Phil Foden. These are other players who can add to that the goal tally for England. So I think they do have that depth. They have a lot of players who can show up in big games and score goals.
Well, Ronaldo, all the scores for England now have their first World Cup goals. That's important for them too, but they say the youth shall lead the way. What are your thoughts on the future of this English team? Obviously, they've got the talent in the dressing room.
Yeah, and traditionally, England has done very well at the youth level, where they've won under 17 World Cup and the Youth World Cup, which is usually under 20, and they currently have graduates of those winning teams within their squad. You have players like Phil Foden, Mason Mount, and most notably, who I'm very impressed with, is Jude Bellingham, only 19 years old, playing for Borussia Dortmund, as captain of Borussia Dortmund, and scoring today. He has now scored 6 goals within his last 5, what we will consider key matches. 5 of them coming within the Champions League. So I think that the Cubs of England are now coming to the fore, and they're now part of the Lions of England, as you know, they call the 3 Lions. And I've been very impressed with not just Jude, but there's also Saka, who scored twice today. When we look at the second goal, now we had some debate amongst ourselves about which goal was the better one. You look at the quality that he displayed for just only 21 years old. Let's not forget, you have Mason Mount, who's 23. Declan Rice, who was a solid force in the middle of the park, he's also 23. So I think that even if England do not win this particular World Cup, I believe that they will give good credit of themselves and they'll be a threat for the future.
Definitely so. Well, we talked a lot about England. Well, everyone would have seen Iran with just 3 shots on target, put one in the back of the net. Mehdi Taremi, the man from FC Porto. Your thoughts on that team, Gabby, in terms of going forward? They still have lots of talent.
They do. They have lots of talent, and as you know, there are a lot of factors that are, on the outside of football that, is affecting that team, or we can only imagine is affecting that team. I think they do have a tough group to play in, and they've got to step up and come better in order to get out of the group.
And Kenneth, obviously, as Gabby mentioned, off the pitch stuff happening, but Iran with the attacking force that they may have, and also players on the bench, because from what we've been hearing, that the real meat of the matter is that what's happening back home in Iran has been affecting their overall focus, and the team really is a government team. That's what they were saying first up, and some of the players that were on the bench coming on in that second half really should have started.
Definitely. I mean, look at the difference between the first half and the second half. The Iranians, the game started with the Iranians leaving all the ball and all the attacking to England. Look at if you look at the statistics, look at the passes, completed passes for England. Look at the pass completion rate for England. The Iranians left them with the ball in the first half, allowed them to do what they want to do, because the whole idea, and like you said, you mentioned off the pitch stuff. If you look at it, the Iranian coach, the Mozambican Portuguese, Carlos Queiroz, he was their coach from 2011 to 2019. Left to coach Egypt, coach another team, and then returned to coach Iran in September of 2022. So he's been only been with the team for just less than 2 months. So the whole idea was to contain England, see if they could stop England from hurting them by parking the bus early, and then maybe pick off points from United States. Now, once that plan A didn't work, they were in disarray in the first half. And like you predicted for the second half, Damien, you said that they're going to bring.
Yeah, I think we lost Kenneth there just a little bit.
Jahanbash.
Yeah, Kenneth, I think you broke up a little bit there. As you mentioned, yeah, we had a discussion while the game was going on. They brought on the subs in the second half, made some changes. So the real team was on the pitch in the second half. You saw some minor improvements there. But let's get to the second game of the day, guys. Heartbreak for Senegal, joy for the Netherlands, who will argue didn't deserve the 3 points with a 2-0 scoreline. Let's take a look at the highlights. Tough pill to swallow for Senegal, but without Sadio Mane, they lack the cutting edge in that attacking third. Your thoughts on it?
Really, really tough. As a West African and a fan of Senegal, since there's no Nigeria at the World Cup, and also supporting my friend Modou Dieng, I was so disappointed for Senegal today. The Senegalese had more shots on target. They had more shots. They had more block shots, but 0 goals. I mean, look at their attack. I mean, we need to discuss the attack, and you get to see how much the Senegalese really missed Sadio Mane today.
Definitely. Well, Kenneth, we're going to take a commercial break here and we get the thoughts of the rest of the analysts there regarding Senegal and that result. But when we come back, it's more activities here on Matchday Live from the 246. Who represents Watford in the Premiership, definitely has loads of potential and talent. I'm sure that he perhaps can help engineer a better result in their upcoming games. But what's the way forward now for Senegal?
Well, first of all, I'm surprised to hear Miss Lopez attribute Senegal to Marisa Mendy, seeing that she's a Chelsea fan.
It
but
hurts. It hurts. It definitely hurts. It was hard to say, but it is the truth.
But yes, sorry. I mean, it's hard to understand why is he playing in the championship. Really, I think he did a fantastic job in deputizing for Sadio Mane today. I thought from the beginning that he caused problems for Delete specifically. You know, caused him to get into some rash challenges, forced him to follow him across the pitch. He made some decent runs in behind him, and I think that he was a handful. And I could only imagine, and I remember speaking to Kenneth, and I said, imagine if Mane was here. He said to me, yeah, the Netherlands would probably be 2 down. And the important statistic for both of these teams has been that before today, Senegal has never lost to a European opponent. You know, and the same thing in 4 meetings, Holland was never defeated by an African opponent. So that made the game quite delightful to look forward to. But the way forward to Senegal is definitely putting the ball in the back of the net. As Kenneth so rightfully mentioned at the beginning, they were more incisive in the attacking third, more shots on target, forcing opponents into making more blocks. One of the things that stood out for me from a tactical perspective was how aggressive and organized their high press was, to the point that within the first minute, if you remember, that they were able to gain the first attacking set piece for the game, which where they would have obviously directed the attack towards the lit and then crap and forced them under pressure, and we were and you know, I'm saying we Senegal were able to put them under pressure and force the attacking corner. So I think going forward, they will need to work primarily on what African teams have suffered from so much before, was playing the ball in the back of the net.
Well, Ronaldo, we gotta mention some of the WhatsApps coming in really fast and furious. They say,
Yeah.
why doesn't Ronaldo talk about the absence of Italy at the World Cup?
Yeah.
I do miss Italian side at this World Cup, to be honest with you. What is a World Cup without Italy? A little boring.
Well, some people do say that the Italians do play boring, but yes, I mean, it's daring to understand, to really fathom that Italy's not at the World Cup. But I mean, hey, let's look at the past. Like Netherlands was at the last World Cup. You've had other key teams that have not been at the World Cup. Nigeria, who has been one of the front runners or high flyers for African football, they're not at this World Cup. So you know, sometimes you go through these phases, and Italy not being here obviously creates a hunger for USA, Canada, and Mexico, where the next World Cup will be.
It's going to be interesting days ahead. You see here another WhatsApp. England flexed their muscles against Iran, but their defense still has room for improvement. I think we tackled that, Kenneth. So they'll have work to do. You know, Gareth Southgate would have mentioned that in the post-match, that this defense really is still the disappointment. He would have loved a clean sheet heading into the next game.
Definitely. I mean, when you're playing, I don't want to call it minnows, but when you're playing lesser nations, you need to keep clean sheets. Do not expose yourself to tougher opponents that these loopholes still exist. And the goals, those goals and the chances that the Iranians had were very clear loopholes that we've seen English teams concede in the Champions League. One, two, three passes, incisive passes in the final third. They're very, very, weak to this kind of opportunities. And so England needs to watch out for those.
Well, we're going to take another break here quickly, but still to come, we'll look at the play of the day, the CBC Fantasy League. I mentioned that a bit earlier. Going to keep you up to date with that. Of course, we continue to look at your predictions for the upcoming matches. This is Match Day Live from the 246. Well, we have 3 matches on today. The final fixture, Wales marked their return to the World Cup for the first time in 64 years with a 1-1 draw against the United States. Gareth Bale giving the side a share of the points in that group. Let's take a look. Gabby, Wales playing their first World Cup in quite a long time. USA back in the tournament, having missed out in 2018. You think they would be happy with a point?
I think they should both be smitten with sharing the points today. I believe the game was a game of 2 halves, where if in an ideal world for them today, if football played just 1 half, the US would have come out on top for the first half and Wales for the second half. In the first half, Tim Weah came in with a good finish to put the US on top going into halftime, and Gareth Bale, he is one of their key players, and him converting at the spot was, their key point in the second half today. So fair game for both of them. They should both be fairly happy with having a point each.
Well, Kenneth, what are your prospects for both teams as it relates to Group B and the remaining fixtures?
Well, the US since 1950, they haven't done too well against England at the World Cup, especially recently. What they need to do is to try and, because of course the English, they want to qualify as quickly as possible. What the US needs to do is to try and contain them as much as possible. If they're going to lose, don't lose too badly. And for the Welsh, make sure you take, 3 precious points from Iran and see what you can do against the English. So these were very good points, and they were 2 well-matched teams. So I think they need to run with it and make the best of it, because qualification could be 1 match away.
Oh, definitely. Ronaldo, are you seeing the improvements, from the qualification stage up until now, from especially the US coming into this World Cup?
Yeah, most definitely, particularly in midfield selection as well. Having Musa, Tyler Adams, and Weston McKinney. I think that's Barajar's set midfield now, and as you know, the core of the team is very, very important. Having those 3 set players within midfield, they're very industrious, very dynamic. They're all capable of working on either side of the ball. So I think that they're the key contributors to the USA team. USA almost had to go to the playoffs to qualify for this World Cup. So seeing them play today in comparison to seeing them play during qualifiers is a significant improvement. They had 3 away defeats, I believe, from my memory, it was Costa Rica, Panama, and Canada. You look back at that video with the finish on a mere 25 points, where, as I said, they barely got through to the World Cup. So seeing them play today with a bit more focus, seeing Pulisic operating more of a central role as opposed to a wide forward role, kind of added something extra to the attack. When you look at the goal that America actually scored, it was actually perfection in the element of transition from defense to attack. As you know, it came from a goal kick, and straight in, they were able to win possession and play the ball forward directly. And within 2 passes, Timothy Weah, the son of African great George Weah, he had the ball in the back of the net within no time. And as Gabby rightfully mentioned, I think Wales, they figured it out and went after it in the second half. And I think going forward, if the USA could get a point from England, as Kenneth mentioned, the results in the World Cup hasn't always been too strong, but if they get a point from England, and obviously bank on England to go after Wales in that feud, that rivalry that they have, the USA could perhaps qualify for the round of 16.
Wow, that's a big prediction. Well, we're going to pause on that just a moment. We're going to get to the play of the day, folks. And we had something to work with today, lots of goals, but our choice comes from the Iran versus England match. Iran with that first goal, the first goal of the tournament. That was outstanding there for them as well. We hope that throughout the tournament that they will help to improve. Well, we're going to continue here on Matchday Live from the 246. And in just a moment or so, we're going to get to... All right, so it appears that obviously we are out of time. And tomorrow, we've got a couple of fixtures on we're going to tell you about on CBC TV8. Just a reminder to you, in Group C, Argentina versus Saudi Arabia at 6 a.m., while Mexico will battle Poland at noon. In Group D, it's Denmark up against Tunisia. That's set for 9 a.m. And then it's France versus Australia at 3 p.m. Of course, continue to send us your messages on our WhatsApp feeds. We're going to keep you up to date. But that's all the time we have now for Matchday Live from the 246. Tomorrow is another day. I'll see you again.